Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Lucia, for the invitation, first of all. We're very happy to be here, and we're also happy that we see that so many of you have joined in. Hopefully we can give you all the needed information about the subsidy scheme and also give you satisfying answers to all the questions. Maybe as a short introduction, my name is Jasper van Bolhuis, my colleague Philip Stolwijk. We're part of Uitvoering van Beleid, so UVB, roughly translated to implementation of policy. In our department, we execute a lot of different regulations and subsidies. So we're also will be the ones who assess all the subsidy applications for this subsidy. Lucia, we're wondering what form we should take. Is it your idea that we do a short presentation to go through a couple of things and then answer all the questions?
Yes, then go into the question. If you can give us short introduction
Right.
to the entire scheme, and then we go over to the questions. And I see already, if I can interrupt you,
Sure.
Jasper, I see people are asking a lot of questions already. Please give us the opportunity to do this short. We will try to keep it as short as possible, and then we go over to the many questions I already see in the chat function. So Jasper and Philip, the floor is yours.
Yeah, and just as a little add-on, Lucia, would it be good maybe that you explain a little bit about the establishment of the regulation, that we go into the regulation and the subsidy scheme, as in all the criteria and all that?
Of course, definitely. That is something we said we would going to explain. After the apologies of former Prime Minister Rutte, funding was made available. It was 100 million for social schemes, if I can focus mainly on that. The decision was taken that this would be divided into three, making approximately 33 million euros for the Caribbean part of the kingdom, 33 million for the European part of the kingdom, and 33 million for Suriname. On July 1st, the scheme was published. A scheme which is being executed by UVB, and it's two schemes actually. It's one for the European Netherlands and it's one for the Caribbean part of the kingdom. They are mainly the same, with exception from the first category, which there's a difference in price in amount of money that you can ask. In the Netherlands, it's 5,000 euros. In the Caribbean part of the kingdom, it's 10,000 US dollars. And there are some other minor differences, but it's mainly the currency that we are using and the first category where there is the main difference. The scheme was published on July 1st. We have been working on this scheme for a while. Usually when you have a scheme, you make the policies for it together with the executing party. In this case, that did not happen that way, and that because of political issues that there were in The Hague, we were finally last year found this organization, which is part of the Ministry of Social Affairs, that are willing to help us execute. We did look a lot for an organization that could help us with this scheme, but because it is so broad, it was very difficult. However, together with Assetway, we were finally able to come up with a scheme that where we try to fit as much as possible the needs from the islands, but also the needs of organizations in the Netherlands. The scheme was published July 1st. With some minor adaptations, and the first category, which is the professionaliserings category, was opened on August 11th. I think I covered the main parts of this process, Jasper. Yes.
Very good. Thank you, Lucia. Now we're gonna try to open also our presentation. We're a bit new with Zoom, so let's see. Venster, and then this one. So what we're going to talk about today. So Lucia already did the part of the introduction and the background, and then we'll go over to who the applicants are. What are the conditions to be an applicant for this subsidy? Then we'll go to the activities of the different categories. So Lucia already mentioned it, Louis. There's an important distinction to make between category 1 and category 2, 3, and 4. But we'll come back to that. Then we'll also talk a bit about the costs that are eligible and the accountability of those costs. Then we'll show you the different application periods, because as we said, there are 4 categories, with each of them have 2 different application periods. They open at various moments. Then we'll discuss how to actually apply for the subsidy, the steps you need to take. Also, after you have done the application, what the process afterwards is. And then we can also, of course, go through all the questions. So let's start with the applicants. The most important condition for all the categories for this whole subsidy is that the applicants need to be non-profit legal entities. So examples for those are foundations, in Dutch stichtingen, and associations. We're not completely aware of if the how it's called in Dutch, the stichting and the vereniging, it translates completely to how it is used in the Caribbean part of the kingdom. But I think those two are the
Sorry,
main ones.
Jasper, can I interrupt you? I think you need to click your PowerPoint presentation because we are stuck on page 1 and I think you're already in page 4.
Yes, yeah. Okay. That's strange because we're on page 4. Let's see. Do you see it now?
Yes, we see it now. Yes, you're on page 4.
Don't do the presentation itself. Somehow that one is not working somehow. Yeah, so we're at the page applicants right now. Sorry?
Go ahead, proceed.
Okay. No worries. So yeah, the most important condition, non-profit legal entities. I think the most common examples are the foundations and the associations. But that's a very important distinction to make. And part of that is also that therefore natural persons, so not the organizations, individuals, yeah, that's a better word, are not eligible to apply for the subsidy. And we know that there was quite some discussion in the early stages of this subsidy, so we received also quite some questions about that. So that's a very important distinction. In the case of the subsidy for the Caribbean part of the kingdom, you also have to be located in the Caribbean part of the kingdom. So your organization has to be officially located there to apply for this subsidy. If you're located in the Netherlands, then you have to apply for the Dutch part of the subsidy. And well, in the future there will also be a part for Suriname, but that one is still in development. Then we'll get to the important distinction already also with category 1 and the other categories. For category 1, we ask for a clear link between the organization and the theme of the transatlantic slavery past. This is not a condition that we have for the categories 2, 3, and 4, but for category 1, it is an important condition. And how will we ask that question, let's say? First, we ask you to sort of show your link with the theme through if you have it in your official documents of the organization. In Dutch, it's called the statuten. Maybe someone can help me with what the English word of it is, but that
The
in
bylaws, the bylaws.
bylaws, exactly. In the bylaws, it should be clear that your organization carries out activities that are related to this theme. So that's the sort of first part of showing us that you have a link with the theme. If you're not able to do that because it doesn't say it in the bylaws, then we ask, well, have you carried out activities related to this theme in the past? And can you please explain us how what kind of activities you did? And then there's also a third option, and that's the option that you, as an organization, explain that you're carrying out activities at this moment related to this theme, and then we ask also to give an explanation of those activities. So those are the three different flavors how we are gonna ask or test whether the organization has a clear link with the theme. For the other categories, we don't ask those questions, but we focus on what the actual societal initiative is, and that initiative has to be focused on the theme of the transatlantic slavery past. Maybe also, an important point to take with this, that we will not look at personal background of people behind the organizations. That's not a criterion that we take. This is also something that we hear a lot in discussions throughout the whole trajectory of the subsidy scheme. Understandably so, but that's just not a criterion we can test up or that we want to test up.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't have been feasible to do it
No.
for very practical reasons. I think that's why.
Yeah. Something to add with this subject, maybe if there are some questions already that arise specifically to this topic.
I thought maybe we could just go quickly.
Go through it? Okay, we'll go through it.
Do you want me to take it with the activities for now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you can't see our presentation right now, but we will share it afterwards. So as Lucia explained, there are several categories within the subsidy regulation. The first pertains to professionalization, and that is the one which is opened at this moment until Friday next week, 5 o'clock Dutch time. And that has to do with the possibility to strengthen your organization in terms of either education courses or training aimed at improving the essence, the structure of your foundation normally, or you can opt for the building or improvement of your website in terms to broaden your reach. For this category, there is condition of the track record, which Jasper described earlier, and only for this one. Because as you will see, the other categories 2, 3, and 4 are similar in terms of their content because they are aimed at actual projects relating to the slavery past. The only difference is normally the given amount, where for the second category you will receive between $5,000 and $25,000. For the third, between $25,000 and $125,000, and for the fourth, $125,000 to $500,000. So it's mostly about scale, the differences there. And those projects will provide the opportunity for you to actually dive into the matter and start developing projects related to that topic.
So maybe there is that important distinction, which we heard quite some discussions also from applicants, that category 1 is not focused on the societal initiative. So the activities that you perform in activity 1 have nothing to do with the theme of the slavery past, whereas 2, 3, and 4 categories are exactly that, the
Yeah.
initiatives that are focused on that theme. But category 1 that's open now is just for the professionalization of your organization through training of your employees and your board members. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I interrupt you, Philip and Jasper, just 1 second? The chat function of this call, we would like to use it only for questions. I see there's a discussion going on. I understand that, but we will miss questions if the questions go further up. So I would like to kindly ask you to please bear with us, and let's keep the chat function for questions. I apologize for interrupting you, Philip and Jasper.
No problem. Thanks. So I think the next point will just be going through the costs of the subsidy. Which costs can you bring into the subsidy and which not. Usually for activities, you can either choose for to have the activities deployed by your own personnel, and then you would have to just pay them through the payslips and show them to us. Or you can opt for external trainers or external costs in general, for which you will need to provide us with invoices and proof of payments in order to verantwoorden. To account for the cost. Volunteers are also eligible for the subsidy, generally much cheaper, of course. You will receive a standard compensation for subsidy advice costs from category 2 onwards. So you will be able to get professional assistance with the subsidy process. There will also be an overhead amount of 15% of the subsidy, which will enable you to also account for costs that are not directly eligible, but that are being made. You could think of travel or having to buy a laptop, for instance. Well, such costs can be covered with that. And should you opt for the biggest category 4, then you will need to contract an accountant to do the accountant for your subsidy, and then you'll receive $10,000 as compensation for that.
Good morning. May I ask a question?
Can we will finalize the presentation and then we will go on to the questions. Yes?
Yeah, I think we're nearly there. Yeah. So we have provided you with a scheme of the application periods. Well, it's too difficult to pronounce it this way, so I would just refer you to our presentation later on. I will advise you to look into our application subsidy process. So the first step is to create an account within our subsidy portal of UVB, Uitvoering van Beleid. The second step is to register that account for this subsidy scheme and this application period. And then the third step is to actually submit the subsidy application through an electronic form, including attachments, which for this category, the first one will only include a bank statement.
Yes.
To prove your bank account, which needs to be linked to the organization. And if necessary, an authorization form if you're not authorized yourself to submit the application.
And maybe good to add here, because of the questions that we already received. When you create an account at the subsidy portal, you'll also receive a notification via your submitted email that you created an account. Then when you register for the subsidy scheme, that part is automatic. You won't receive a notification mail, and you can straight after that you've done the registrations, you can go if the application period is open, of course, you can go to your subsidy application themselves. So it's a sort of a 3-step towards the subsidy application, and also at the end of the subsidy application, if you completed it, you will also receive a notification from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one you already hinted on. Did we also talk about for the category 2, 3, and 4, the possible attachments that are?
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet. Yeah. So indeed, for category 1, the only real attachment is the bank statement, where we can sort of make sure that there's a proof of a bank account number and the account holder. Also the form of authorization if needed. Philip just explained it. But for category 2, 3, and 4, we'll also ask the applicants for an activity plan to explain what kind of activities you want to perform and how you're going to do it and how you're going to execute it. And then also a format of the budget. So those will only be for the societal initiatives. And then we'll reach our last slide for now. This is the step after you've done your subsidy application. We'll start assessing or the assessment process after the application period ends. So you won't hear much from us until it ends, and then we're gonna have to decide how we're gonna fill in that process. So either if the subsidy cap is reached for that application period or not reached for that application period, we'll start the assessments of each subsidy applicant in order of the date that they applied for the subsidy. However, if the subsidy cap has been reached, as soon as the application period ends, we'll do a randomization, a sort of you can call it a sort of lottery, in which we to determine the order in which the applicants are going to be processed. This also to make sure that everybody has the same chance of receiving subsidy. So it's not who comes first gets all the subsidy and the other ones don't have a chance.
The randomization is done by an independent notary outside of the ministry, so it's not done by us.
Yeah.
So the independence is also very important.
Yeah, good addition indeed. After the application period closes, we have 13 weeks to make a decision about the subsidy application. So within those 13 weeks, you'll get our decision. Only in the cases of category 3 and 4, if we have to go to the advisory committee to gather advice from them, then the period will be 22 weeks before we can make the decision. At the moment that we send the decision and the subsidy is allocated, you'll receive a payment, the first advance, and that first advance for category 1 and 2 is 100% of the budget. You will receive it within 6 weeks, and also from the moment that we send our subsidy allocation decision, the project starts. So then you can, from that moment on, you can start doing the eligible activities and the costs. So I think that's in a nutshell.
Thank you, Jasper and Philip.